Imagine waking up tomorrow, completely covered in thick fur. Not a sweater, not a jacket. Real fur. The kind that once covered nearly every ancestor you ever had. It sounds impossible, but for millions of years, that was normal. Every human alive today carries the genetic blueprint for a hairy body. Most of it is simply switched off. So what happened? Why did one species of ape lose the coat that protects almost every other mammal on Earth? The answer begins under the burning African sun. Around 7 million years ago, our ancestors looked nothing like modern humans. They were small. They climbed trees. They spent much of their lives in forests.
Nature needed a cooling system unlike anything seen in other primates. The answer wasn't stronger muscles. It wasn't thicker skin. It was sweat. Lots of it. Humans produce more eccrine sweat glands than almost any other mammal. These tiny glands release water onto the skin. As the water evaporates, it carries heat away. It's simple physics, but it completely changed human history. Biologist Nina Jablonski has argued that losing most of our body hair allowed this cooling system to become incredibly efficient. The result was an animal that could stay active under a blazing sun. While lions rested in the shade, humans kept moving.
Every solution in evolution creates another problem. Hairless skin made cooling easier, but it also made humans easier to injure. Cuts became more common, sunlight became more dangerous, cold nights became harder to survive. Yet our ancestors adapted again. They learned to change the world instead of waiting for their bodies to change. At some point, they began wearing animal hides. The exact date is still debated because clothing rarely survives for hundreds of thousands of years. Instead, scientists searched for another clue. It came from parasites. Biologist Mark Stoning and other researchers studied the evolution of human lice. Body lice can only survive in clothing. Genetic studies suggest they separated from head lice roughly 170,000 years ago. That means clothing was probably common by then. A tiny insect preserved a chapter of human history. Think about that. One of our greatest inventions left almost no fossils, but parasites remembered it. Fungi became another way of protection. Archaeological evidence suggests controlled fire was used by ancient humans hundreds of thousands of years ago. A campfire replaced the warmth that
Everywhere humans traveled, the environment asked the same question. Can you survive here? In most species, the answer depended almost entirely on genetics. For humans, the answer increasingly depended on imagination. A frozen valley demanded warmer clothing. A scorching desert demanded better shelter. A storm demanded stronger tools. Instead of waiting thousands of generations for new mutations, people invented solutions within a lifetime. That speed transformed our species. The invention of sewing needles allowed clothing to fit more closely. Animal hides became insulated garments. Later, woven fibers replaced heavy skins. Homes replaced caves. Cities replaced temporary camps. Technology slowly became humanity's second skin. But evolution never completely stopped. Even after humans spread across the world, natural selection continued shaping our bodies. Some populations evolved greater tolerance for cold. Others adapted to life at high altitudes. Groups living near the equator retained darker skin to protect against intense ultraviolet radiation. Groups further north gradually evolved lighter skin to...
Most people think evolution is about becoming stronger, but that's rarely how it works. Evolution is about solving problems. Sometimes the solution looks like a gain. Sometimes it looks like a loss. Losing our thick coat of fur seemed like a weakness. Yet it unlocked abilities that changed the world. It helped our ancestors travel farther than ever before. It helped them hunt in the hottest hours of the day. It pushed them toward clothing, toward fire, toward shelter, toward cooperation, and eventually, toward civilization. Every modern city exists because countless generations kept solving yesterday's problems. The air conditioner cooling your home follows the same principle as sweat evaporating from your skin. Your running shoes support the same endurance that once carried hunters across the African savanna. Even your sunscreen exists because humans